And for the traders who, would say, it's been maybe a year or 2 years, things haven't clicked yet. What advice would you give them? How much would you say, well, this is just sort of par for the course. All new traders go through sort of, difficulties when they're starting versus, okay, maybe it's time to think about how they're trading or what preconceived notions they might have about the market. How do you sort of resolve that, and what's your advice to people who are still looking to become consistently profitable trader?
First, go to Project Impact and donate money and watch Brian Lee's last Traders for a Cause talk. um, yeah, if you're like, I mean, that's a good one to start with because he touches on that. I get that DM a lot. The last guy I talked to, without going into the DMs to read it, if I just remember off the top of my head, the advice was, you know, you have to create rules and a system, and you have to trade small enough that you're not going to blow up the account because you're going to be wrong a lot at first. And you need to, even if your rules and your system suck, and they're going to, it's your first go at it, they're going to suck. Make some rules that you think are good, that make sense, they're logical. And even if they suck and aren't working, stick with them and with 100% discipline, trade that system for a long enough amount of time that then you have a sample size where you can go back and analyze it and make adjustments. And you'll make adjustments, change some rules, make some new rules, get rid of rules that didn't help, and then trade it again for a little while and analyze it. And you should incrementally get better. And what most people don't do is, one, they don't systematize things. And two, because it's not systematized, they're trading off of intuition and they're literally just hitting buttons when their emotions are telling them to. They are consistently doing the same thing. And like they constantly are putting themselves in trades where they go, I did it again. I chased this trade, or I shorted in the hole and then it blew up in my face. It's like, yeah, okay, so how many times do you have to do that before you make a rule that says do not do that, and then stick to it, right? And if you're trading off intuition, you're at your emotions whim. You just, every time you have one, you're going to be coaxed into doing something you're going to regret. So you have to systematize it. You have to, and even for the discretionary traders out there who will hear this and they'll go, that's bullshit, I don't have a system. You do, you just don't know it, right? Like you've been trading long enough that your intuition has rules ingrained in it that prevent you from doing things and keep you doing other things consistently. But for the newer guys, you got to, because all you are is a ball of emotions and you're new to the market and all you've known is pain and loss. Well, obviously what you're doing is not working. So ask yourself what it is that you keep doing that's causing you problems, make some rules about it, then make some other rules that'll structure when you should be participating in the market and when you should be sitting and just doing nothing. And then trade it. And like I said, trade small so that you give yourself a really long runway, because you're going to need it. It's not going to happen overnight. So the longer the runway you give yourself, the better. I know some people will tell you to paper trade. I think paper trading is great to see if a system can work, but then you need to do it with real money for a while too, to see how the emotions affect it. But that's the advice.